Good evening. How are you today? How was your day? I trust you're doing great. I trust you're doing awesome. Today we're going to talk about how to sustain and remain relevant. How to sustain and remain relevant. The last session we had, we talked about how to become relevant, how to be a relevant person. Now, beyond becoming relevant, you have to sustain the relevance that you have achieved or you have attained. So that is the reason why today we're going to be talking about how to remain and how to sustain relevance. And number one on how to remain and sustain relevance is discipline. Discipline. Another word for discipline is self-control. Self-control. A controlled behavior. So if you're disciplined, this will enable you to maintain and sustain the decisions, the right decisions that you made at a particular point in your life that made you relevant. Discipline will help you stick to those right decisions that made you relevant. So if you have a controlled behavior, or if you have self-control, you'll be conscious to maintain those decisions, those actions that made you relevant. So number one, or one of the things that can help you sustain and remain relevant is discipline. Discipline. Keeping to those decisions, keeping to those actions that made you relevant. By so doing, you will remain relevant. You will be able to sustain relevance. And the number two is to be conscious of yourself and environment. Some people think they are still relevant, but unfortunately, they've lost their relevance long ago, and they now live on past glory, just because they're not even conscious of themselves and the environment. So they think they are still relevant, but they don't know that they've lost their relevance long ago. They're just living on past glory. You know, there's a saying in our vernacular language here that I get and before, no be property. I get and before, no be property. So you need to be conscious of yourself and your environment to know if you are still relevant or you're living in past glory. You need to be conscious. And then tell yourself the truth. If you're not relevant again, tell yourself the truth so that you stop fooling yourself. So one of the ways to sustain and remain relevant is that you need to be conscious of yourself and the environment to know if you are still relevant or you have lost relevance. So that's one of the ways. Be conscious of yourself and your environment. And then, number three of how to sustain and remain relevant is that you have to carry out a routine relevance test. A routine relevance test. How do you do this? You gauge your relationship with people. Gauge your relationship with people by being scarce sometimes. You know, just disappear sometimes. Just be scarce sometimes. Just take an excuse sometimes and just be scarce sometimes. And then see if you will be missed or you will be needed. You see if you'll be missed or you'll be needed. So you need to carry out routine relevant tests. Whatever result you get from that test will help you sustain and maintain relevance. It will help you. So you need to carry out routine relevance tests from time to time to know if you are needed, if you are missed, if you are still relevant. And the number 4 is don't be available always. Don't always be available. Don't always be available. Also here, there's what we call, in our vernacular language, pidgin English, we call it see finish. See finish. If you're always available, it will result to see finish. What does it mean in English language? Familiarity breeds contempt. Familiarity breeds contempt. So when you're always available, you become too familiar and it breeds contempt. Your regard begins to drop. Your relevance begins to drop. So don't always be available. Even when you're present, even when you're around, try to control your availability. It helps you to sustain and remain relevant. And the number 5 is don't expose secrets. Don't expose secrets. Relevant people don't expose secrets. Whether the secret belongs to them or it belongs to some other person. Yet there be things about you that people don't know. You have to learn how to keep people in suspense. Let them just be in a dilemma. Let them just be assuming. Let them be on suspense. And keep secrets that people entrust in you. When people trust you with their secrets, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk. Don't talk too much. Keep your mouth shut. Relevant people don't talk too much. They don't talk too much. So if you're someone that can keep secrets, you can keep your own secrets, you can keep people's secrets, you will be seen as a relevant person. And it will keep you relevant. Because people will come and trust you with their secrets. They'll come and talk to you, they'll tell you things. Because they trust you, that makes you relevant. So if you continue to live a life of keeping secrets, it will help you to stay and remain relevant. Because by the time you start talking anyhow and exposing secrets, people will run away from you. They can't trust you. And it may make you irrelevant. And the number 6 is set proper boundaries in life and maintain them. It is necessary that you set boundaries in life. In everything you do, you set boundaries. Don't overdo things. You don't laugh too much. You don't talk too much. You don't play too much. You don't work too much. Let there be boundaries. In your relationship with people, in the things you do in life, you set proper boundaries. Proper boundaries. Let there be limits to the activities you indulge in life. Let there be limits. It will help you to be relevant. It will make you relevant. You don't just throw yourself open and do things out of control. No. You should be controlled. You should set boundaries. You should set limits. It will keep you relevant. And then number 7 is try your best to be successful in life and remain successful. And also be content. Cash is good. Cash is good. So try to be successful. And not only to succeed, but to remain successful. And also be content. You know why? Begging and borrowing can make you irrelevant in the eyes of people. When you beg a lot, you borrow a lot, gradually, the relevance is depreciating. It's coming down. In fact, when you beg a lot, you might call someone And the person will look at the phone and say, oh, I'm not going to pick his call. I'm not going to pick her call. He wants to beg. She wants to beg. You have lost relevance. But when you call somebody and the person sees your phone, the person just rushes and just picks it or returns the call, it means you're still relevant. So you have to try to succeed and remain successful. And also be content. Manage what you have. Manage what you have to be enough for you. Make sure that what you have, you'll be able to manage it to be okay and enough for you, that you don't need to beg or borrow. It will help you to stay relevant. People will respect you when they know that you're okay with what you have and you don't beg and you don't borrow. You're okay with what you have. You're fine. You don't disturb nobody. They will respect you. It will keep you relevant. To keep you relevant. And then number 8 is be rich in knowledge. You have to keep learning if you want to sustain and remain relevant. You have to keep learning. You have to be rich in knowledge, because when you're rich in knowledge, people will always come to you so that they can learn from you. People will always come to learn from you. So you have to be very rich in knowledge. You have to just keep learning, keep reading, keep learning, keep studying. When you have good knowledge, rich knowledge, people always come to you. They always come to you like, I want to come close to you because I know I'm going to learn something. It keeps you relevant. It makes you stay relevant. And then number 9 is you have to be a trusted person. You have to be a trusted person. You need to have integrity and you need to have a good reputation. Trust. Trust. If you are a trustworthy person, it makes you relevant. If people can trust you, they can trust you with everything. It makes you relevant. So you have to be a trusted person. You have to be a reliable person. You have to be somebody that they can take your word to the bank. You have to be a trusted person. You need to have integrity. You need to have a good reputation. You need to be known for good. If you're a trusted person, you will remain relevant. It will help you sustain relevance. And then the last one we're going to be looking at, which is number 10, is continuous impact. Continuous impact keeps you relevant. Continuous impact keeps you relevant. Try to live a life of impact, no matter how little it is. Touch lives. Touch lives. Positively. Touch lives positively. Touch lives positively. Touch lives positively. Impact your environment. Impact the people around you. Let them feel your positivity. So continuous impact keeps you relevant. Ask yourself, do I impact people? How do I impact people around me? How do I impact people in my environment? Impact positively. It's going to keep you relevant, because your relevance stops where your impact stops. So you need to live a life of impact, a life of positive impact, and it will keep you relevant. So this is what we're going to be stopping. This is what we're going to be stopping today. We're going to stop here today. So thank you for your time. Please like and share this video. So bye for now, till we meet some other time.